Good morning, everyone. Namaste. We are going to call in Archangel Michael to clear, cleanse the space, all negative and lower vibrations from our mind, body, and soul, home and hearts, placing the white light of protection on us with this blue seal. And we're going to call in Jesus Christ. We're going to call in the Holy Spirit, as well as the divine God source. Because we're going to be reading out of my Course in Miracles. We're also going to call in Sophia. And we're still reading on the consistency of the kingdom, chapter 7. And we are on part 4, the unified curriculum. To heal is to liberate totally. We once said there is no order of difficulty in miracles because there are all maximal expressions of love. There has no range at all. The non-maximal only appears to have range. This is because it seems to be meaningful to measure it from the maximum and identify its position by how much it is not there. Actually, this does not mean anything. It is like a negative number in that the concept can be used theoretically, but it has no application practically. It is true that if you put 3 apples on the table and then take 3 of them away, the 3 apples are not there. But it is not true that the table is now minus 3 apples. It is there, is nothing on the table. It doesn't matter what was there in terms of amount. The nothing is greater nor less because of what is absent. That is why all and nothing are dichotomous without range. This is perfectly clear in considering psychological testing of maximal performance. You cannot interpret the results at all unless you assume either maximal motivation or no motivation at all. Only in these 2 conditions can you validly compare response, and you must assume the former because the latter was true. The subject would not do anything. Given variable motivation, he will do something, but you cannot understand what it is. The result of such tests are evaluated relatively, assuming maximal motivation. But this is because we are dealing with abilities where degree of development is meaningful. This does not mean that what the ability is used for is necessarily either limited or divided. Yet one thing is certain, abilities are potential for learning, and you will apply them to what you want to learn. Learning is effort, and effort means will. We have used the term abilities in the plural because abilities began from the ego, which perceived them as potentials for excelling. This is how the ego still perceives them and uses them. The ego does not want to teach everyone all of it has to learn because it would defeat its purpose. Therefore, it does not really learn at all. The Holy Spirit teaches you to use what the ego has made to teach the opposite of what the ego has learned. The kind of learning is irrelevant as the particular ability which was applied to the learning. You could not have a better example of the Holy Spirit unified purpose than this course. The Holy Spirit is taking them to a unified curriculum. The fact that was not the ego's reason for learning is totally irrelevant. So I'm going to leave it at that. But just know that something I actually just heard and to learn again is, exactly the amount of love that you hold back from others is the amount of love that's going to be held back from you. That is something that the Course in Miracles really kind of expresses and teaches. As far as with the ego, the egoic mind was meant to keep you safe in the 3rd dimension, which in the 4th and 5th dimension, the ego doesn't exist. So you really need to kind of set the intention of merging the ego with your higher self, your monad, and kind of tell it to take a back seat on your left shoulder, because you are in ultimate surrender and divine flow. And the egoic mind is something that really wants to try and control their environment and their space. So moving on to the fourth and fifth dimension, you really have to shed that egoic mind. So making that conscious effort every time you catch yourself doing anything from the ego, allowing it to be released, surrendering it to God's source, and just asking for guidance and help with that. So I love you all. I hope this helps. Namaste.